When I read the stories of the kings of Israel and Judah in the Old Testament, one thing that comes to my mind over and over again is this: Lord, I want to finish well. Because so often in the history of God's people, we find good kings who start out very, very well, but then in one way or another, they turn away from the Lord. Saul, who eventually forgot that the kingdom actually didn't belong to him, it was God's kingdom. Solomon, who turned away and started worshiping other gods. David and Hezekiah, who in their pride made foolish decisions late in their life. And we see more of the same in today's reading from 2 Kings 11 to 15. King Ahaziah dies, and his mother, Athaliah, kills all of his children so that she could become the queen of Judah. But God used Ahaziah's sister to protect Joash, who was a baby, and she kept him hidden for 6 years until they declared him king at the age of 7. He was guided by a godly advisor, a priest named Jehoiada. And it says in chapter 12, verse 2, that Joash did right in the sight of the Lord all of his days in which Jehoiada instructed him. But then Jehoiada died. And we learn from 2 Chronicles 24 that Joash turned away from the Lord. He abandoned the temple that he had worked so hard to repair. He set up idols and he led the people to worship them. And when the son of Jehoiada rebuked him for that, Joash had him killed, the very son of the man who had been his lifelong mentor. Well, after Joash's servants murdered him in his own bed, Amaziah became king. And it says that he did right in the Lord's sight and did all the good that his father Joash had done. Unfortunately, he also did the bad that his father had done. Chapter 14, the Lord gave Amaziah a great victory over the Edomites. But we learned from 2 Chronicles 25 that he took some of the idols of Edom home with him and he worshiped them. And when the Lord sent him, a prophet, to rebuke him for his idolatry, he threatened to kill him. Like father, like son. Then in the last prideful and foolish act of Amaziah's life, he went and for no reason provoked the king of Israel and said, "Hey, come and fight against me." Well, Israel defeated Judah, tore down much of the wall of Jerusalem, and carried away all of the gold and silver that was in the temple and in the palace treasuries. After Amaziah was also murdered like his father, Uzziah became king of Judah. He reigned for 52 years. He rebuilt the walls. He fortified Jerusalem. He put together a skillful and powerful military force. And so Judah, under Uzziah's rule, lived in peace. But it says in chapter 15, verse 5, that the Lord struck him with leprosy. And in 2 Chronicles 26, we see why he did that. Uzziah became proud of his strength, as if he was the one that made it all happen. And since he was the king, he decided he could do whatever he wanted to do. He went into the temple and offered incense, something that clearly only priests were allowed to do. And when the priests rebuked Uzziah for doing that and told him to get out of the temple, he got angry at them. And so he became a leper until the day that he died. Paul says in Romans 15 that all of these old stories were written down for our instruction. And I hope that we learn from the stories of these kings. I don't ever want to forget that everything I have is only by the grace and mercy of God. I don't ever want to forget that my calling and all of my gifts that I've been given are not given to build my kingdom, but they're given so that I can declare His kingdom. So I look beyond those kings of old, and I fix my eyes on Jesus, the King of all kings. Every day of my life, I want to be able to say, as He did, I always do the things that are pleasing to the Father, and I want to finish well. When I get to the last days of my life, with my very last breath, I want to be able to say to the Father, just like Jesus did, I have glorified you here on the earth. I have finished the work that you gave me to do.